Start with empathy. It all begins with empathy. Take yourself out of your shoes and put yourself in the shoes of another person. I get excited about empathy because it has the power to bring us all together. And that very connection motivates us to treat others the same way that we want to be treated. Empathy has the power to change humanity. Now, to understand why I said that, we need to go back to my first week of my preceptorship at Kaiser. Imagine you are a patient that's 10 minutes late. You are obviously frustrated and in pain, hence the purpose of your visit. You accidentally snap at the receptionist. How does she react? Does she react back in anger? Does she snap back at you? Or does she remain completely calm and attentive to what you're saying? Well, in my experience, I shadowed a primary care front desk receptionist. And the patient did snap at her and used a lot of words that I'm not allowed to say in this setting. Anyways, the receptionist didn't physically react to what was being said. Like, meaning that not even an eyebrow was raised, nor a gasp released in shock to what he said to her. Instead, she just sat there and listened to him. She was completely attentive to what he was saying. And once he was done, she said, "It's okay, sir. I understand. Please take a seat and the nurse will be there with you shortly." After that whole situation, I was completely shocked. I thought she was going to send him home or maybe even call security on him. But no, she just sat there and listened. And you may be thinking, well, she has to listen. That's her job, right? But not necessarily. People who go into healthcare actually care about their patients a lot. And exercising empathy, especially in the medical field, is the key to survival. Because you never know what a patient is going through. Maybe they're on their first day of chemotherapy, or they know someone that's going through chemotherapy. Maybe they recently lost a loved one. Or maybe they got a life-changing hemodialysis surgery. Well, this is for an elderly patient, where they have to go almost every day for the rest of their lives to filter their blood. Empathy is such an important part of our lives. It is necessary in our lives because it allows the connection which enables us to share feelings. It is so important that it even exists in our biology. There's a special group of nerve cells called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons, as implied in the name, allows us to mirror the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of other people. Remember that moment where you saw a child get that first scoop of ice cream? They felt happy, right? And maybe you can't help but to feel happy for them. Or there's another moment where your coworker had their lunch stolen out of the staff refrigerator. Yeah, you might feel bad for them, maybe even give them a part of your lunch. And yawning. It's not necessarily monkey see, monkey do, but it's mainly the mirror neurons reacting. Yawning is a form of empathy. If someone were to yawn in this room right now, you'd probably yawn too. Why? Because yawning is an unattentive way of showing that we are aware of another person's emotions. Now that you know all about empathy, what's one way or multiple ways to express empathy in your daily lives? Well, there are 3 reasons. Number 1, listen. Don't interfere with your own ideas right away. Allow the other person to dominate the conversation and determine the topic being discussed. Remain completely attentive to what is saying. For example, let's say you get a bad grade in a class and you're talking to your friend about it, who got 100%. Immediately, they start boasting about how good their grades are. Well, how do you feel? Kind of upset, right? Because they started to dominate the conversation. Maybe all you need is someone to talk to lift that extra burden off your shoulders. Step 2, withhold judgment. Judgment completely shuts off a conversation, and prejudgment is even worse. Prejudgment is formulating a judgment on something or someone without having all the necessary information needed. Remember that kid that probably got a bad grade on the final right next to you? Yeah, you immediately resort to thinking, well, he didn't really study, right? When in reality, he actually studied. Maybe he has test anxiety, family issues, or he might have been so nervous that he couldn't get enough sleep that night. Step 3, ask questions. Use thoughtful questions, like don't ask simple yes or no questions like, are you okay? Instead, invite the speaker to engage in a deeper conversation. In medicine, there is a lot of communication in various departments, but in one department that I specifically noticed was radiology. There was a disabled patient who was in a wheelchair. She had to be moved to the x-ray table. And this was kind of a scary thing for me to watch because I didn't know what was going to happen. But with the empathy and the communication from the doctors, it was perfectly fine to watch because they continuously asked the patient, how does this make you feel? Do you feel safe? Is there anything we can do? And doing so, there was a lot of empathy between the patient and the doctors that were helping her. Now that you know a lot about empathy, I hope you could take these 3 rules and my experience to use in your daily lives and your future career. Thank you.